So, calorie counting for type 2 diabetes, we all know that we need to lose some weight to get healthy. And, I don't have it offhand, especially while I'm driving right now, to actually show you some science evidence that some suggest that obesity doesn't necessarily have a role in type 2 diabetes in every case. There are some people who are severely overweight and never really get type 2 diabetes. Now, whether they have insulin resistance or not, who knows? I haven't done enough research on that matter, but only to hear that it is debatable whether weight really is a problem for type 2 diabetes. So, but we all know that it's not healthy and that we need to lose weight. And I think in the realm of type 2 diabetes too, you have so much information out there of what you shouldn't do. And calorie counting, I think, is one of them that I see all the time in these fad diets. And I call them a fad diet because how many of them have actually worked for people to go and count your calories, right? And you may wonder, why the hell should you even listen to me? I wasn't even after really losing weight. It was just a byproduct of the systematic approach that I took towards reversing type 2 diabetes, which was more a low-carb diet. And I did not calorie count one bit. And I went from 230 pounds down to $180. I'm 6'4". That's about the lightest I'd like to be, by the way. But it had nothing to do with calorie counting whatsoever. And calories are not equal. First of all, let me finish too with the fad diets. Look at how many people, the success rate of doing the diets. How many people actually lose weight? There's a handful of them. There are some people who have success with it, but it's a very painful experience. From what I've come to understand, you're starving, you're hungry, and it's not very sustainable. Everything that I work on is blood sugar tested with my continuous glucose monitor, and the ways of reversing type 2 diabetes and actually losing weight and getting off blood pressure medications, by the way, and having other things like IBS and very light IBS and problems like that, arthritic pains, rotator cuff problems, everything disappeared. But yeah, the point I want to make is sustainability, because going on a calorie restricted diet lasts for a while, but how long are you going to be able to handle being starving, hungry, right? Your stomach growling and everything. Why would you put yourself through that when you can literally go through a low carb diet, eat steak? For mine right now, I look at is mostly carnivore, not 100% carnivore, but pretty much mainly my food is animal products, mainly eggs, beef, chicken, fish, not so much turkey and seafood and stuff. I try to introduce seafood because they say it's good for you, but I don't know how I feel about that with the mercury and all those kind of things, but my body really does very better. Like, I crave more meats, like red meats, than anything else. But in the state of that, you have full satiation, meaning that you're full. Your stomach feels full, and it's very difficult to really overeat on a steak or burger, whatever have you, chicken. You could eat so much, and then you're just like, oh, I'm done, and you feel full for the entire day. Like, literally, I can eat, like, my go-to breakfast, guys, has been half a pound of burger. And I'm not saying that you guys should do these exact quantities. It may be different, especially if you're female. There's a lot of variables there. But I eat a half a pound of burger, 4 eggs, usually a whole avocado, and about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of butter or beef fat, tallow. And I do this pretty much almost every morning because it's just, I'm so busy and I don't even think about it anymore. And I've maintained my weight for a long time. Like, I have not moved, maybe 3 to 4 at the most, I think 5 pounds. And I think it's I'm gaining a little bit of muscle from consuming so much protein and doing some resistance training. But as far as fat goes, I can literally see the fat just melting off my body and staying this way. It's sustainable. So those fad diets are not going to last you very long, because you can't live your whole life just counting calories and being starved all the time. Sooner or later you're going to cave in, and I think it's actually going to mess around with your health. And I don't know, not sure how I feel about having 6-pack abs, having literally 0 fat on your body. A lot of us strive to look like the movie stars, the models that we see. And a lot of these people have to go through some strenuous shit to get there. Like, some of them, a lot of these bodybuilders, I think they dehydrate themselves to get the water out of their muscles and their body basically to get that tone, that real cut look, right? And as soon as they're done, they go off and they drink a whole bunch of water, and you know, they basically starve themselves to look that great, right? So it's not sustainable. Then we're so busy, right? A lot of us, the regular Joe Schmo, that's movie stars and athletes and, you know, bodybuilding athletes and things like that. They've got, that's what how they make their money. They're getting paid. The rest of us, you got a job to do. Like me, I got to go put on some roofs today to make some money. You know, counting calories doesn't pay the bills, but it's actually just another annoying thing that I got to tack onto the list, the giant list of things I got to do every day. So guys, I think if you want to lose weight, it's basically a byproduct of the systematic approach that I've taken to reverse type 2 diabetes. I reversed it in early of 2024. At the latest, I think it might have even been December is what I'm going to call it. Took my A1C from 6.5 to 5.3, and no meds, all natural, and no supplements too, guys. That's the other thing. You want to lose weight, you don't need supplements, you don't need drugs. Ozempic, you guys got to be careful of. It actually will kill your hunger hormones, from what I understand. It won't make you hungry, so you won't eat, but you're going to lose skeletal muscle. You're going to lose muscle mass. You're going to lose fat for sure, but you're also going to lose muscle. And muscle is very difficult to rebuild once you lose it. And as soon as you stop taking the Ozempic, you're most likely going to go right back to getting hungry without the drug. So in order to keep the weight off and remain to that status, you're going to probably have to rely on the drug for the rest of your life. Sounds very convenient for certain individuals who are selling it, right? You lose weight, you feel great, you didn't even have to work out or do anything about it. You get off, you put the pounds on, you're right back to eating it. Well, I guess I should just keep eating this forever. But it doesn't have to be that way. And most things, guys, there's no pill for every ill. We actually have to put the work in. And the delightful thing I'd like to say about the approach that I've taken of mostly carnivore, low carb, is that it doesn't take a lot of work. It doesn't take a lot of thinking. It doesn't take calorie counting. And let's talk about what actually happens. You know, the difference between, let's just say you ate 1,000 calories of bananas, or you ate 1,000 calories of potatoes or beans or something like that, right? Something that's got a lot of carbs in it. Get a continuous glucose monitor. I go live every morning. Well, I try to go live every morning, but every day at 6 p.m. we've been really regular, and I show my blood sugar results from my CGM, my blood sugar monitor, on the interface there, so you can actually see for yourselves if you're skeptical, because you probably are, and I don't blame you. You should be. But we need to understand that insulin, when your blood sugar spikes, and you're going to see a spike, the difference between eating bananas, potatoes, or beans, whatever have you, high carb, 1,000 calories. Insulin is going to shoot up, and insulin is a fat burning blocking hormone. It's a necessary chemical. It's not evil. We need it to survive in our bodies. But the fact of the matter is, at least for now, what the science says, and I believe it, that when that insulin goes up, it stops your body from burning fat. It concentrates on the sugars that you have immediately in your body. From the way I understand it, I may be wrong, but that's pretty much what I've experienced. So there's a lot of people who are getting pretty savvy about this. They'd rather, instead of taking drugs or supplements, they'll take a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor. They'll basically just go on a diet, coupled with working out, right? Getting some cardio and eating low carb. As long as they keep their blood sugars in the optimal weight loss range. And you can see on my videos, it's the dark gray area. Mine says the optimal glucose range. I think the other one says the optimal weight loss range or something. But people who don't have type 2 diabetes will wear these, and they'll be able to do it naturally without supplements, drugs, anything, just their diet. And the cool thing is that unlike Ozempic or any of these other fad diets or these supplements that people are selling, is that you can get most likely within 3 months, if you recorded everything that you ate, and it doesn't have to be boring, my friends. It could be, you know, bacon wrapped steaks with jalapenos inside, you know, with mozzarella cheese, things like that. Very delightful, enjoyable meals. You can log these all down, and then instead of spending your money on any of these supplements or even a CGM after that fact of the matter, you can literally just stick to that diet, right? Stick to all the things that don't spike your blood sugar, or watch some of my shorts that I make, all the recipes that I use. Mimic those recipes, the foods that I eat, and then you wouldn't even need a continuous glucose monitor. You're going to start losing weight. I am so confident that this information that I'm sharing with everybody every day, I feel like we're getting more and more cookies every single day. Now, this is going to help people out so great. That's why I do not charge any money to the people who choose to view, like my viewers, my followers, subscribers, and hopefully keep it that way forever as long as I can keep the lights on here. Because I know that once I make a difference in your life, you are going to fall in love with me and you are going to gain trust, because I'm not selling anything. And really, I can't sell anything, because how do you sell intermittent fasting? Which I didn't really talk about on here. A couple intermittent fasting with that, guys. As long as you're not on medications, if you're a type 2 diabetic, you should consult a doctor. But couple eating low carb with without calorie counting. Couple that with some light cardio, walking. You don't even have to run. Couple that with a continuous glucose monitor, so you can see your progress. You can also see your wins and your failures, and measure your glucose levels, and get all the food you need. And that's all. Like, really, it's that simple, right? It's simple, but it's not easy to do. But it is, in the fact, a lot easier than going on a low calorie diet, being able to eat until you feel satiated, nice and full, comfortable, tummy's happy, go throughout your day, and literally lose weight in the process. And as I said, guys, other byproducts where bloating and discomfort, bowel irregularity, smell, your bodily odors, headaches, fatigue, sleeplessness, like so many things get cured from it that it's just amazing. I guarantee you guys, you're going to feel so wonderful. And if you do, please share. Message me in the description. There's a way to email me or go on the lives and tell me if I've helped you guys, because that's my big goal with all of this here, is to help you as much as possible. And we're not polished, you've got to forgive the background noise. If I don't do this on my way to work, these videos won't get out. And I feel that what I've achieved is very, very important, and people deserve to have this information that's not locked behind a paywall, right? And that we don't just wet your whistle enough to get you to go to our website and everything. Although I do enjoy the traffic, and you guys and I have a bunch of freebies, my point is really to help you guys out, get you guys on the right track. Go lose that weight, but you don't have to do it painfully, my friends. It could be in contrast, a very enjoyable experience. And I'm going to leave you guys with that.